Back this month, ladies and gentlemen, David Burrows right here for you. What is up? How you guys doing? Dude, give it up for Mike putting this show together again. I met him recently, really good fucking guy, funny as hell. Are there any other black people here? I feel like I was watching you guys fight and I was like, am I at a fucking rally right now? What's going on? It's terrifying. I'll count you. You got my back. As long as nobody lights me on fire, we're good. I recently found out that Cash App is a black thing. Did anybody else know this? That's like a stereotype that black people use Cash App. You're good. That made me mad because like I use Cash App and like I hate being a stereotype. Like, give it up if anybody here is Italian. Anybody? Right? Anybody trying to find an Italian in Jersey is like trying to hit water out of a boat. You know what I mean? Like, and like, there's maybe too many Italians in Jersey, right? So, and if you're ever talking to one of them, and they're always like, forget about it. In the back of your mind, you're always like, they did the thing, right? And like, that's how I feel like I'd rather shoot myself in the foot than let a white person see me enjoy a piece of chicken too much, you know what I mean? Because if they do, in the back of their mind, they're like, they did the thing, and I'm just I was talking to my best friend about this, about how much I hate being a stereotype, and he just looked at me and he was like, dude, we're watching a movie, can you shut the fuck up? That's what I do. My best friend likes to challenge my blackness though, because he's from Cairo, right? So he's Egyptian, he spent like the first 10, 12 years of his life in Cairo. So he likes to always use that against me and say like, I'm blacker than you, I'm actually like from Africa. And my instant response is always like, bitch, you were born in Princeton. Shut the fuck up. Plus, you don't even use Cash App. Like, get on my fucking level, bro. But he's from Egypt, right? So he spent like the first 10 or 12 years of his life in Egypt, which is fucking cool for him that he gets to see both worlds. But when he got here, he never saw snow in his life because snow in Egypt. So when he saw snow for the first time, keep in mind we're like 12 years old, he get like a snow day off of school, and he's outside just like dancing in the snow like he's a fucking Disney princess or some shit. It's magical. And then he's texting me like, do you want to build a snowman? And I get to text him back, go back to Africa. I love saying dumb shit like that. I miss the kind of things you can get away with saying as a kid. Everybody remember like the slang when you were a kid? Like how much slang has evolved? The thing that kids say now that like piss me off is like type shit. Anybody like say type shit, use it? No, you're all white. Okay, 99%. We got But like, so I teach drums at a high school, so I hear like the slang that they use and it makes no fucking sense. Type shit is the one that pisses me off because it means nothing, adds absolutely nothing to a conversation. They'll say shit like, yo, that test was hard. Type shit. I'm hungry. Type shit. That one kind of makes sense because you can't say me too anymore, you know? But they don't use it in like a context that makes sense. It's not like, oh, like, I have an essay to write, I gotta go type shit. Like, I hate it because it doesn't make sense. Cheers, motherfuckers. When I was a kid, that was like when email addresses were becoming popular, and I remember like trying to make my email address. Like, for the most part, everyone's email address is simple, right? It's like your name, your date of birth, or birthday, or whatever, right? When I was like, what, 12 or 13, I wanted to make like the coolest email address ever, right? I sat and I thought about it for the longest time. I was like, what can I do? Like, what's really fucking good? So I thought about it for like a month, way longer than I should have. And I came up with batman.michaeljackson@gmail.com. Perfect, right? 2 goats, 1 username, it's amazing. And then fast forward like a month later, I was talking to like one of my middle school teachers, and I was like, can you like send me the form for this so I can follow the rubric or whatever? And he goes, what's your email? I was like, you're not gonna fucking believe this shit, dude. And I told him, I was like, it's batman.michaeljackson@gmail. And he just laughed in my face. I was like, I'm 12, can you do that? Like, what if I go home and kill myself now? Last time I did that, somebody in the audience went, aww. I was like, I'm still here. Like, I didn't do it, it's okay. I am a huge Michael Jackson fan though. Anybody else a huge Michael Jackson fan? Greatest center returner of all time. I don't believe the allegations, just throwing that out there. Somebody told me I look like a young Michael Jackson, which is awesome. Right? And I did this joke about Michael Jackson. I learned that there's a time and a place you have to do a joke sometimes. I did a joke about Michael Jackson's child abuse in front of in front of a bunch of new parents. They didn't think it was funny. I'm sure you guys will though. So, let's see how this shit goes. Child abuse is a terrible thing, right? You can't beat up your children, just hit them for no reason, whatever. But on the other hand, Michael Jackson did grow up getting abused every single day of his life, and then grew up to become the baddest man to ever walk on planet Earth. So, results are results. I got beat when I was a kid, and I'm fucking here, so. There's also a time and a place for people to like I appreciate when people tell me that I have good jokes, like you're a fan of my comedy, like that's awesome. But like, don't do it while I'm in the bathroom. Like, don't come up to me while I'm midstream, tap me on the shoulder, and be like, hey bro, I like your stuff. Like, give me a fucking second. People always challenge Michael Jackson's blackness too, the same way my best friend did. And like, my favorite, thank you, whoever just shushed that. Thanks. So, let him talk. Not his month anymore, but we still respect him. But like, they challenged Michael Jackson's black. One of my favorite facts about Michael Jackson is like he actually had like a somewhat deeper voice than he projected, because he always like spoke in the octave he sang in to help preserve his voice, right? And like, so he got abused as a child. He's from a hood in Indiana, believe it or not. Gary, Indiana is not a place I'm attractive. It's basically like Camden, you know what I mean? And he switched up his voice, which is like code switching. Black people do it all the time. So like, just once, I would have loved for Michael Jackson to like say the N-word in like an interview or something, or like winning an award. You know what I mean? Just to remind everyone, like, and the Grammy goes to Michael Jackson. And he comes up. This nigga said I couldn't do it. My daddy Joe beat me every day. Fuck that nigga. That's what I could do, an hour of just Michael Jackson up here, like. These niggas keep playing. I told him to beat it. My point is, Michael Jackson would have used Cash App too, you know what I mean? I have been doing a lot of shows in like New York and Philly recently, which is a lot of fun. I was at Gotham Comedy Club. That was probably the coolest venue I've ever been to. And I've noticed a lot of differences between like New York and Philly. Like the homeless people, first off, like that, the homeless people are very different. Like in New York, I got hit on by a hooker. I was outside a liquor store and I saw her proposition a guy in front of me first. She just like walked up to him, like opened her shirt up and said like, whatever hookers say to people, I don't fucking know. She opened her shirt up at him and he just looked her up and down and said, ew. And then and I was like, that piqued my curiosity. I was like, I wonder what kind of atrocity you gotta have under there. But I didn't get to find out because when it was my turn, I walked up and she just went, "Hey honey, I'm looking to get some dick in for some chicken." Like, that's a clever ass line. How the fuck can I say no to that? There's a Popeye around the corner, just make sure no white people follow us in the door. And then in Philly, I had this dude walk up to me. I parked my car and was walking like maybe a block, just a block to whatever venue I was performing at. And he walks up to me, you know, he's doing like the Philly fentanyl all over, just. And he like trudges over to me and he's like, "Hey bro, you got any cash on you?" And like my go-to is always like, "No, I don't carry cash, it's 2025, whatever." I mean, except for this bar, there's an ATM right here. But my go-to is like, "I don't carry cash on me anymore," because who does? Card, tap, watch, whatever you got. And so I tell him that, and I'm like, "I don't have any cash," and he just goes, "All right, bro." Pulls out a phone. "I got Cash App though." You gotta fucking do better than that, man. Also, New York and Philly. I've been doing a lot of shows in Philly since the plane crash, and I feel like every other comic in Philly has a joke about a plane crash or like whatever. Nobody in New York has a joke about the plane crash, and I'll tell you why. Because theirs happened a few years ago, and it was way worse. You know what I mean? Everybody from New York is like, "Oh my God, there was a plane crash. How many people died?" Not a lot. Crashed into a mall. That must be crazy. How many people died? 7? 7. Those are school shooter numbers. You gotta pump that up, rookie. It is terrible. But it's funny. I got one more. So I did say I teach drums at my old high school. Talking to these kids is mind-numbing. Like, not mind-numbing in the sense that, like, you just run out of stuff to say, but just, like, the things they fucking say. Anybody have kids? Do you know this? Do you, like, hear your kids talk? Right? So, it's a whole different language. It makes no fucking sense. So I was talking to this one kid, like, "Why were you late for rehearsal?" And he said, "I just drove here. I got stuck in traffic. I just got my license." And I was like, "Pause. You act like a 12-year-old. There's no fucking reason you should be driving." And he was like, "No, I just got my license." And I remember he just said, "I just turned 18, I just got my license." And for anybody who might not know, women especially, when a man turns 18, you register for the military draft, same time you register to vote. That's how that goes, right? So I was talking to him and I tell him, I'm like, "Oh, so if you just turned 18, you must have registered for the draft, right?" And he looks at me in full seriousness and just goes, "NBA or NFL?" You guys remember I said I teach drums? Does he think like the Chicago Bulls are just picking kids out of random fucking towns and hoping for the like? And I had to explain to him, I was like, "No, the military draft." And he was like, "I'm not joining the military, don't worry about it." I was like, "You fucking..." And after like going over this with him again and telling him like, "You don't have a choice," he just looks at me again with a blank face and just goes, "Type shit, type." My name is David Burrows. Thank you guys very much.